Okay, let's get into some of the flavor of this new Trump Republican tax bill, not from the point of view of a policy analysis, which we did at the beginning of the show, but just in terms of some of the characters, the clueless characters that voted for this. Now, it's no surprise to you, and we've already talked about how some elected officials didn't read the bill, but voted for it anyway. And some of them said, well, I got a summary from the leadership of my party. Others saying my staff summarized it for me. Others saying I looked at a few pages of it, whatever. What's stunning, though, is the basic level of detail about which many of these Republican lawmakers that voted for the bill and love the bill are totally clueless about. Something as basic as the tax brackets. There are only a few tax brackets, and the changing of the tax brackets in this bill, one of the biggest elements of the bill, no question about it. Huffington Post went to some Republicans and said simply, what are the tax brackets in this bill that you voted for? And almost none of them could name it. Now, I'm not involved in this bill at all, but offhand, I can tell you, just from doing stories about taxes, that the federal tax brackets before this bill were 10, 15, 25, 28, 33, 35, and 39.6. I just know that offhand. Now, I've not tried to memorize it. I don't have a particularly good memory, but we talk about taxes enough, once every couple weeks normally, more since this tax bill has been on the table, that I sort of have integrated and assimilated that data into my mind naturally. These people have been working on this bill for months. They're supposedly dealing with it every day, most days, and many didn't even know the tax brackets. We've now learned that the brackets are 10, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, and 37. 18 Republicans were asked, what are the tax brackets? None were able to name the new income tax brackets that they were creating, that they were voting for. The 19th person that they spoke to, Congressman Chris Stewart, he knew, I guess, although he also says something weird in the clip, right? Yes. He says, let's listen to it. Even the lead author of the House version of the bill, this is his bill, right? Kevin Brady. Even he couldn't name all of the tax brackets. What on earth is going on here? Here are some of the interviews that Huffington Post did.
I was wondering how familiar you think everyone is with this tax bill that you guys are passing today. I mean, obviously not a ton of time to read it, but a ton of time to read it. We've had several weeks. I read it on the plane 2 weeks in a row. Okay. Do you know what the brackets are on this bill?
This is an amazing bill that's going to help the entire country, especially the middle class in my district.
But you know
I got to run the votes.
Do you know the brackets off the top of your
I have to
head?
get yellow to my office.
So you don't know?
Yeah. So it went on and on and on. And finally, they got to a guy who was able to name them, even though I think he said that 0 is one of the brackets, which according to my reading, there's no 0 bracket unless your income is 0.
Exactly. Because then you'd have 8 brackets, right? But I guess if you make $0, you're paying 0%.
That would be a way to pay 0% taxes. Yeah. But no, up until I think it's $9,200 or so dollars, you do pay 10% federal income tax on that. It is an embarrassment.
Yeah, I think he had interviewed 12 or so Republicans. So when he found one that got almost all of it right, I think he just went with that.
Yeah, I think it was number 19, the 19th guy. Interviewed 18, none of them knew it, and then the 19th guy was able to say, here are what the tax brackets are. The embarrassment is that there's sort of two ways to interpret this, right? One interpretation would be they don't really care enough about the brackets, even though it's of huge consequence to everyday Americans, to have even integrated that information because they didn't really spend that much time on it. That's sort of one possibility. The other possibility is that these people are just so disconnected from the work that they're doing and maybe even incompetent that they don't integrate even these most basic facts into their mind after months of working on this thing.
The original House bill had only 4 brackets.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been weeks since then, and this is the major thing that you're pushing for.
No excuse.
I think you should memorize it, at least the lowest and the highest numbers.
And even if it's not a question of, we know it's not going to impact them, right? They're not going to be impacted by where the cutoff is between the 15 and 22% bracket or whatever tax brackets there are. But at least make it appear as though you really care how the average taxpayer is going to be impacted by these changes that you're making. Absolutely and utterly pathetic. They just didn't read it. Most of them did not read it, and that's something that we should all be really, really concerned about. You can discuss this with us on our subreddit at davidpakman.com/REDDIT. Today's program is sponsored by Live Lingua. We're getting down to the end of the year holiday gift-giving season. And if you're thinking about getting your relatives yet another kitchen gadget or another pair of boring socks, consider giving the gift of language. Live Lingua uses a program, a method of direct full immersion with native speakers of the 11 most widely spoken languages in the world. And this is something that people will actually use. Your friends and family will appreciate this. And there's no gimmicks, right? Live Lingua is not going to tell you, using our website for 5 minutes a day, you'll be fluent in a month, right? What they will tell you is that they use the exact same approach that diplomats and educators have used for hundreds of years, but they do it online, giving students the opportunity to build routine and actually stay in a comfort zone that will work for them and be the best possible thing for their learning of the language, okay? You can, this holiday season, take advantage of the Live Lingua gift card discount and free trial lesson at livelingua.com/Pakman. And you don't have to give it as a gift to someone else. If you decide to use the gift card on yourself and to take the free first lesson yourself, Live Lingua won't say anything as long as you go to livelingua.com/Pakman.